So I'm glad to be here today. It's very exciting. I'm so glad that the Washington County Forum is having this forum on the governor's race. And I want to talk to you about three issues, and I'll try to do that as quickly as I can. One issue is the state of our economy and jobs. The second issue is one that Susan Castillo cares a great deal about, which is education funding. And the third is an incredible opportunity this state has related to what we call sustainability. And let's start with jobs, because clearly the first thing the next governor needs to work on is improving the economy and getting our citizens back to work. And I have a long history of support for small business in this state, which employs over 95% of the people in this state and is a critical part of our economic health. When I served in the legislature, I introduced a bill in my second term to create small business development centers at all the community colleges in Oregon. They provide advice and information to help small businesses grow and thrive. While I was Secretary of State, we dramatically reduced the filing fees for registering businesses, and we created an online one-stop shop for small businesses to do both registration with the Secretary of State and to comply with the Department of Environmental Quality, and to register with the Department of Revenue, and to register with the Department of Business and Consumer Affairs Workers' Comp. So the point was to have a site on the internet where people could come and only put in their business name, their individual name, their social security number, and their address once, and that would populate all the forms that you need to be filling out and you're doing business with the state. So I have a long record of really focusing on what can we do to make government more friendly to small business. My proposal as a candidate for governor is that we really need to address a fundamental issue, which is access to capital for small businesses. And that's what led me to propose the creation of the State Bank of Oregon. And the purpose of the State Bank of Oregon is to recognize that all of us pay a lot of taxes, all of us pay a lot of fees, and that gives us a significant capital resource that we can put to work in partnership with community and state chartered banks to increase lending to small businesses. There's one other state in the union that has a state bank. It's the Bank of North Dakota. North Dakota has that bank, has had it since 1909, and what the Bank of North Dakota does is actually partner with local community banks and credit unions and make loans specifically focused. They're specifically focused, not surprising in North Dakota, they're specifically focused on lending to farmers to help farmers add value to their crops. They also make a lot of loans to basically provide student loans to students all over the state. We can do something very similar here, but it needs to be focused not just on farmers. It needs to be focused on forestry. It needs to be focused on green building. It needs to be focused on renewable energy. It needs to be focused on the sustainable industries we have to help them get access to capital and move forward. So that's issue number one, is a state bank. Issue number two is that I think it is a tragedy how underfunded education is in the state of Oregon today. And I think we need to just really face it. This state is blowing it. And what that means is that K through 12 and community colleges and higher ed are underfunded. What that means is that community colleges, it used to be that you could go to community colleges almost for free. Now, in 1977, tuition at a community college, it was $387 average around the state. 2 years ago, average tuition at a community college in Oregon is $3,870. We've raised the tuition dramatically at community colleges. We've dramatically reduced our public support for higher education. Total student costs of higher education used to be 70% paid by the state general fund. Most recent figures say 6% of the cost of a student going to a public university in Oregon is paid for by the state general fund. We all know the crisis we have in funding K through 12 education. There is a quality education model that was developed in the year 1999 to the year 2000. House Speaker Lynn Lundquist helped develop that with former Governor John Kitzhaber. They developed a quality education model, which is a great, not Cadillac, but a great model for how education should be run. It includes smaller class size. It includes adequate choices for students, and we're not getting there. And so I'm really committed to working to fund education, and I'll certainly, because I'm running out of time, I'll certainly take a question for someone about how we do that. But that, to me, is a critical factor that we need to address if we want to have a bright future, is good education that leads to a good economy. So thank you so much. It's a real pleasure to be here.